LeBron James is back with the Los Angeles Lakers as he made his season debut last night for the Purple and Gold. Year 23, it's absolutely crazy. And LeBron played in his 1,563rd career game last night. He is just 48 games away from passing Roe Parrish for the most all-time games played in NBA history. Hard to believe that the kid from Akron is in year 23 and has played in almost 1,600 NBA games and is over 40 years old now, and his son is on the Lakers. Just unbelievable. Great to see LeBron back in action last night, and a solid win for the Lakers over the Utah Jazz. Now, they struggled a little bit to start out. I believe the Jazz got out to a 16-6 run to begin the game, and the Lakers took time to find their footing in that game, but they eventually were able to put up 140 points, which I believe was the most they've scored this entire season in a game this year. So a good win for the Lakers against a team that they absolutely should beat, and now they have a few days off. But the thing that I was most excited about was the Lakers finally got to put together their actual starting five that they want to play with for this season when they're fully healthy. Luka Doncic, Austin Reeves, LeBron James, Rui Hachimura, and DeAndre Ayton. And I thought this unit gelled really well together. Luka had a Luka-type game where he had 37 points and 10 assists, and we'll get to something that Luka needs to improve on later in today's show. Hint, it's the turnovers. But he also notched 5 boards on the night, and Austin Reeves put in his fair share of the scoring load as well with 26. LeBron had just 11 points in his debut, but he did have 12 assists as well. And then DeAndre Ayton had 20 points and 14 rebounds. And I was reading some stuff up on this game, and some people believe that the biggest beneficiary of LeBron James returning will actually be DeAndre Ayton, just because LeBron being that secondary playmaker on the court next to Luka Doncic will just open up DeAndre Ayton for so many more opportunities, especially at the rim. And what's crazy is Ayton even said in his post-game press conference that he told LeBron after LeBron threw him an alley-oop that was the second alley-oop that LeBron has thrown him, despite that being their first game as teammates. The other one was when DeAndre Ayton was in 8th grade at LeBron's camp. That's how old LeBron's getting, but you know what? He's still doing it at a pretty high level, and you would expect there to be some rust for a guy who's 40 years old and going into his 23rd season in his debut, and he was dealing with that injury that he was able to rehab and come back from, and they're just going to have to find a way to manage his minutes all throughout the season. Here's what LeBron had to say on his debut last night. The pace really tested me, but I was happy with the way I was able to go with the guys. As the game went on, my win got a lot better, caught my second win, my third win. Rhythm is still coming back, obviously. First game in almost 7 months. His last game was game 5 against Minnesota. So everything that happened tonight was to be expected. And I fully agree with LeBron. I mean, look, there's honestly no real rush in getting him into tip-top shape. Like, as long as LeBron is peaking in April, that's really all that matters. And the Lakers and JJ Redick admitted, like, this is kind of uncharted territory as far as load managing LeBron goes, because he's never really had to have his load managed in these situations before. Now that his body is 40 years old, he has a lot of minutes in the league. They're just trying to figure out the right balance between when to rest him and when to let him go. Like, I think there will be a number of back-to-backs LeBron doesn't end up playing this year. There will probably be games that he just flat out sits out because his body is telling him that he needs a little bit of a rest. His trainer, Mike Macias, is on the Lakers training staff as well, who also knows his body very well. And LeBron knows his body better than anybody else. So if he says he needs a rest, the Lakers probably will give that to him. And they're going to just try to figure out this as it goes on. Because like JJ Redick said, it is truly uncharted territory because LeBron's never dealt with any extended leave of absence via injury. Like, he has kept his body in unbelievable shape throughout his entire 23-year career. So now it's up to the Lakers training staff, JJ Redick, and LeBron to figure out what the best course of action for him is going forward. And look, this team really does continue to find ways to win despite not being super elite as far as the numbers go. Like, we all think that this Lakers team is very good, and we all think that they can compete in the Western Conference. But when you look at the team ranks and their offensive and defensive rating, like, they're kind of middle of the pack. They're 12th in offensive rating and 17th in defensive rating. Now, some of that obviously has to do with Luka Doncic missing a week, with LeBron missing the first 15 games of the season, and the defensive rating being middle of the pack as well is something that they're absolutely going to need to work on. But to be honest, like, the Lakers really don't need to have much more than a league average defense. Like, you would want them to be, I would say, somewhere around 12th as opposed to 17th. But if they're sitting there around 12th, I have zero concerns that the offense will figure it out and will become more efficient as that starting five continues to gel and play more minutes together. So that's of no concern to me, but I do think they need to ramp it up on the defensive end. And there are absolutely some things on the offensive end they need to iron out as well. But all that being said, you look at the average numbers, the Lakers are still fourth in the Western Conference behind Houston, Denver, and Oklahoma City. Look, I still have concerns. Oklahoma City's just going to run away with this thing. They might win 75 games this year, and they might be no competition for anybody else because they are really, really that good. Victor Wembanyama's out for a couple of weeks, and San Antonio currently sits in fifth. So I feel like the Lakers are in a really good spot here. Houston is 9-3, and they're a good team. Obviously, Denver with Nikola Jokic and that squad over there as well. But I do think the Lakers are in a really good spot as far as their standing in the Western Conference goes, and they'll be able to kind of manage that throughout the season, pick their spots when LeBron rests, when Luka rests, when they might give a rest to a guy like DeAndre Ayton, because it's not about what you do in November, December. It's about what you do in April, May, and hopefully June. And I do think that the Lakers have the big picture in mind, and they'll keep that in mind as this season goes on. So I think they're in really good hands, despite the numbers maybe saying that they've got a few more wins than maybe they should have. And as the season goes on, they're going to grow with each other. They'll be able to really form themselves into a contender. And maybe at the trade deadline, Rob Pelinka can go add another piece or two to really make this team a team to be feared there in the playoffs. Where do you guys think the Lakers are in the Western Conference, though? I showed you the standings. They currently sit fourth in the West. Fill in the blank for me. The Lakers will finish blank in the West this year. Let me know down there in the comment section. Gabe Vincent also returned to the Lakers last night. He had 6 points and 1 assist in 16 minutes of action. And they need Gabe Vincent to be someone who can stay healthy and come off the bench as that backup guard, because this team really doesn't have a true backup PG when Vincent is out. You can say that Austin Reeves is technically that secondary point guard. And then when you have LeBron James, obviously, that certainly helps a lot. You always want 4 ball handlers available to you on any given night. So when you have Luka, you have Austin Reeves, you have LeBron James, and then you have Gabe Vincent as that fourth guy. I do think you're sitting pretty good there. And as long as Vincent can stay healthy, if he can give you 16 to 20 minutes a night, that's really all you're going to ask of Gabe Vincent. So I do think that's a good sign going forward. He was dealing with like a little ankle injury, so hopefully that's fully rehabbed and he's able to go and able to play a consistent run of games here for the Lakers. We are covering the Lakers all throughout the 25-26 NBA season, so hit that subscribe button if you haven't already at youtube.com/Lakers TV. I have a feeling this could be a pretty special season for Los Angeles going forward. Look, I really think this team has a chance to win it all, so we'll see what happens, but be along for the ride because we'll have you covered all throughout. And the Lakers have a mini bye week here. There's a lot of bye weeks in the NFL, but in the NBA, you really don't see this that often. They played last night, which is Tuesday. They don't play again until Sunday. So that's Wednesday. That's 4 days off before they play on Sunday against, who do they play Sunday? Against the Utah Jazz again. That's right. Shout out to producer Lopez. A little baseball style series, except 4 days off in between. So we'll talk about some adjustments that the Lakers can make during this bye week, because there absolutely are things they can get better at despite being that 4th seed in the Western Conference as we sit right now. And we'll get to those in just a moment, but today's show is sponsored by PrizePicks, where you and I make decisions every single day, but making those right decisions on PrizePicks, they can get you paid. Don't miss out on any of the action this basketball season on PrizePicks, where it is good to be right. PrizePicks is super simple to play. You just pick more or less on at least 2 to 6 player stat projections, and you can watch the winnings roll in. You can play in over 40 states, including Texas, Georgia, and California as well. They put their members first, so all withdrawals are fast, safe, and secure. They now offer Venmo, Apple Pay, and Cash App for quick and easy deposits and withdrawals into your account this sports season. And I do have a projection for you guys, a football projection, because the Lakers don't play until Sunday. I mean, how ridiculous is that? But I'm going to take the more on Drake May passing yards. I'll also take the more on Caleb Williams rushing yards. And once again, the more on Rashee Rice rush plus receiving touchdowns. You can make those picks over at PrizePicks. Download the PrizePicks app today and use code CLNS to get $50 on lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. One more time, that is code CLNS to get $50 on lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That link will be in the comments and description of today's show. Shout out to PrizePicks. It is good to be right. This is where the Lakers need to improve in order to really solidify themselves as a true title contender this season. They have to start games faster. The Utah Jazz are a really, really bad team. You just can't get out to a 16-6 deficit early in the game. Now, the Lakers are obviously good enough to overcome that against a team like Utah, but if you do that against a team like Houston, a team like Denver, or a team like Oklahoma City, you are probably not going to be able to recover from that. So they have to be able to come out of the gates faster. And I know JJ Redick has talked about they need to do that as well, not only at the start of the game, but at the start of the second half as well. The Lakers have traditionally this season been a slow starting third quarter team as well. So they need to start out faster in the first and third quarters. That's something they absolutely need to take a look at and figure out how to improve as the season goes on. And then number two, they need to get better from three-point land. They're just not a great three-point shooting team. And look, this team can really get to the rim basically whenever they want to, because when you have Luka and LeBron on your team, those guys are able to get to their spots quite literally whenever they want. If Luka wanted to take every single shot from inside the paint, inside 10 feet, he could. But he loves to step back three. Austin Reeves is traditionally a good shooter as well. But the Lakers, just as a team, have not been a great three-point shooting squad. Luka's less than 33% from three. Austin Reeves is right at 33%. Jake LaRavia at 33.3. And Marcus Smart can't hit water from a boat. He's at 23.1. Rui Hachimura is at 50%, but he doesn't take many of them. Gabe Vincent is only shooting like 20% from three, and he has not played well this year. Like, they have to get better from the perimeter. And if they do that, the offense will open up so much more, and you'll see that 12th ranked offensive rating in the NBA continue to improve. Because when the Lakers start shooting better from three, that means teams have to respect that. That means you can't sag off shooters and you can't clog the paint. It just opens up the entire offense for everybody if this team gets better from three. Now, Luka, again, traditionally is a slow starting three-point shooter. Whenever he starts a season or returns from an injury, the three-point shot is usually the last thing to come to Luka's game. So hopefully, now that he's getting a consistent run of games together, he'll be able to start knocking down some more threes at a consistent clip. The other night, I can't remember what game it was, he took like 16 three-pointers, and I just think that's way too much for Luka. He really needs to be around 10 to 12 three-pointers a night just because he's so physical and so good at his ability to get it to the rim at will that I think that's really where he needs to focus his energy on. But if they can improve three-point shooting, I think it'll go a long way to helping this team out in the long run. And then number three is take care of the basketball. And I know that's super cliche because every team needs to take care of the basketball. But Luka I've watched every single game of Luka's career, so I'm speaking from some sort of knowledge base here. He at some times feels the game is so easy to him that he just gets bored. He frankly gets bored out on the court and just tries new things. And sometimes that ends up in turnovers. Like last night, he had 8 turnovers, including 4 in the first quarter. And you just can't do that if you're a team starting point guard in the Lakers system. Like Luka knows that he has to take care of the ball better. He knows that the team needs him to take care of the ball better because you just can't have 8 turnovers from the guy who's supposed to be your primary playmaker. It's just not going to fly. Like I said, he literally just feels like he's doing everything on the basketball court that he gets bored to the point where he's just going to try new things. And sometimes those new things will result in turnovers. So he just needs to simplify his game, take it down a little bit. You don't want to take the creativity out of his game because that's what makes him so great, but just simmer it down a little bit, take care of the ball a little bit more, make sure you get that assist to turnover ratio at somewhere around 3-1. That's ideally what you're looking for. If Luka has 12 assists and 4 turnovers a night, I don't think anyone's going to be complaining about the 4 turnovers. Just get that assist to turnover ratio in line, and everything will take care of itself from there. You guys tell me, though, before we get on out of here, what do the Lakers need to improve the most? Is it the three-point shooting? Is it the turnovers? They're a really good rebounding team, so I don't think that's an area of where they need to improve. But you guys let me know down in the comment section, where do the Lakers need to improve their game the most? That will do it for today's show, guys. Appreciate you for tuning in to the Lakers Report by Chat Sports. As always, we will have you covered with all the latest Lakers news and rumors as they drop right here on the channel. So subscribe, and we'll see you guys soon.